I have an odd suspicion that my future is going to include taking a look at a lot of mice just like this guy right here. The G305 aims to bring premium performance to a small and light package for an affordable price, especially if the recent price cut ends up sticking. Should this guy right here be your next gaming mouse? Let's find out. What's going on, guys? I'm Brian, and today we're taking a look at the G305 Lightspeed from Logitech. This little monster typically comes in at about 60 bucks, but as of late, it has been on sale for $40 on Logitech's own website. As always, I will be leaving links to everything we talk about today in the description box below. So if you need them, you're interested in them, you want to, go check out the actual product, they'll be down there. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing for more tech content just like this, and feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you end up enjoying this video. All right, so the G305 Lightspeed comes in two different colors. You have the black one that I have right here in my hand, and that also comes in a white version. And I personally wanted the white one because I have a ton of black mice, and I wanted to, kind of shake it up a little bit, add some different colors to my inventory of mice, try something new, but it was out of stock. So I had to get the black one. Anywho, in the box, you are going to find your G305, the associated USB dongle, which will actually be tucked away inside the mouse, a AA battery, some paperwork, a nice big Logitech sticker, and then a USB extension cable. And actually, the USB extension cable is a really nice touch for a budget wireless mouse. The closer you can get your mouse to the USB receiver, the less chance you have interference and the better experience you will probably have. We'll talk more about the performance and stuff like that in a minute, but again, I do like when wireless devices come with this USB extension cable. The entire mouse is made of a nice feeling plastic that I find pretty comfortable in hand. The majority of the shell has a matte finish with glossy finishes on the middle buttons, side buttons, as well as between the left and right click buttons. The scroll wheel has a very enjoyable rubberized coating that has very nice feedback while scrolling, and quite honestly, it's probably one of my favorite scroll wheels that I've tested out to date. The part of the mouse that sits in your palm actually slides open to expose the battery chamber. This chamber has a spot for one AA battery as well as for your USB dongle. As I mentioned in nearly every one of my wireless mouse reviews, this USB storage spot is very important in my eyes. It might not sound like a big deal, it might sound like a minor thing, but when you don't have that spot, taking your mouse places becomes a complete hassle, and you just need to trust me, it really sucks. On the bottom of the mouse, there is really only one thing worth mentioning, and that's the 6 mouse feet. They're okay, but this mouse has a ton of real estate on the bottom, and it would have been nice to see Logitech make the feet a bit larger so that the mouse would glide a bit better. Now, it's not like it's hard to move around or the mouse feels clunky to move around. It just has a little bit of drag while doing so, and the fact that it's a pretty light mouse will more or less negate the issues you may have while gaming. Weighing in at just 97 grams with the battery installed, this is certainly going to be a great mouse for first-person shooters. That is, as long as you don't have like massive hands, because this mouse is pretty short. I measured it in at just about 117 millimeters long, 62 millimeters wide, and 38 millimeters tall. And for a quick comparison, the grip and height of the G305 is only a little smaller than that of the G502. Yet the G502 is over 20 millimeters longer than this guy. In any case, as long as you don't have massive paws, I think the size and weight of this mouse will work for the majority of palm, claw, or mixed grip users. The build quality feels pretty good, and this was especially surprising to me because it is a budget wireless mouse and it's also rather light. I expected a little bit of flex, but nope, there's none of that there. This thing is solid, and gamers that pick this up can rejoice knowing that it will be able to endure some of your more intense gaming sessions. Now, the mouse also comes with 6 programmable buttons. You have your left, right, and middle click buttons, a center button, and then 2 side buttons directly above your thumb. Unfortunately, the G305 has no side scrolling, so if you do a lot of video editing editing and utilize that feature, this might be a big bummer for you. As for the extra buttons it does include, by default, the center button is going to be used to cycle between DPI speeds, and the buttons above your thumb are mapped to forward and back. And of course, they are programmable, so you can basically change them to do whatever you want if you so choose. Even with this being a budget wireless gaming mouse, the buttons are really nice and crisp, and that's like 3 reallys if you didn't catch that. But who am I to not let you see what I'm jabbering about? Here is a quick sample. As you can hear, these buttons sound great. I couldn't tell you the last time I used a mouse where I enjoyed every button as much as I've enjoyed the buttons on this guy right here. I am truly shocked at how nice they feel, and even if I'm being super critical, I can only say that the middle mouse click button is a tad squishy for me. But that's like me trying to nitpick it and trying to find a reason to complain, because I always have a button I don't really like on a mouse, and I couldn't really find it on this guy. In fact, the side buttons on this mouse might actually be my favorite side buttons of all the mice I've tested, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Drooling aside, none of this matters if it sucks to use while gaming, right? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this thing doesn't suck while gaming. Yes, I said doesn't. And it doesn't suck at doing anything else for that matter either. The G305 packs the incredible hero sensor and also contains the low latency light speed technology that should help if you are trying to be a serious gamer. These technologies used to be found in only Logitech's more premium gaming mice, so this is certainly a good thing. Now, I can definitely say that I do miss my extra programmable buttons that are on my G502 while I tested this mouse playing WoW or video editing, but in just about everything else, I think the experience is the same or maybe slightly better. And this is actually coming from someone that at first didn't like using this mouse because of how compact it is. After using it for a few hours, this guy really started to become like my best friend, like so much that I am certainly moving this over to my test bench that I have over here to use while I'm benchmarking new like graphics cards, CPUs, and stuff like that. Now, the mouse is very accurate and I had no connection issues whatsoever, and this was even without me using the included USB extension cable. You know, the one that Logitech actually provides so that you can bring the USB dongle closer to your mouse. I did my testing with it connected to one of the USB ports on the top of my case, and it worked great. As for battery life, Logitech claims it'll get 250 hours worth of battery life in performance mode and 9 months worth of battery life if you switch it to endurance mode. All I can really say is that I've been using it for a few weeks now and the mouse has yet to die. So if I had to guess, Logitech's claims are probably about correct. But again, I just haven't used it long enough to actually confirm or deny what they claim. As for the software, if you've watched any of my previous Logitech mice reviews, you will probably know I typically like the G Hub software. And the same does go for the G305. I still don't really get why you can't modify what each button does while it's in onboard memory mode, but I guess you could always just make the profile and then save it to the onboard memory of the G305. Maybe it's just me being a little nitpicky, but I don't like how they don't give you those options, especially since the older software did. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the G Hub software, this software will allow you to program all your buttons, modify your DPI, your pulling rate, and for the G305, it also allows you to switch between performance mode and endurance mode, which will help conserve battery life if you set it up to switch to endurance mode while you're not gaming, which is a pretty cool feature if you ask me. And so the Logitech G305 is a really solid option if you're looking for a wireless gaming mouse that doesn't break the bank, especially since it's been on sale as of late for just 40 bucks. I personally can get behind it as long as you don't have massive hands and don't have a need for maybe more extra programmable buttons. It's great for first-person shooters and a pretty solid mouse for just about everything else. If you found this video helpful, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tech content just like this. If you want to see some more of my content, it'll be popping up right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.